how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news. Today I want to briefly talk about a situation that happened yesterday on Twitter involving Pete Hines and a community hyped for new Starfield information. Many of you are no doubt aware of this somewhat cringe-worthy toxic situation, but there are a few key things that I want to talk about involving this, as it is not only a slap in the face to the community that pays his bills, but at the same time it shows a very clear ignorance of how the community feels about Bethesda's PR and marketing in general. Yesterday on Twitter, people were for some reason asking Pete Hines about the Elder Scrolls 6, which is silly for numerous obvious reasons, as we won't get anything involving the Elder Scrolls 6 until long after Starfield comes out, and we still have yet to even have an official date for Starfield. So while I can understand the hype for TES 6, it is kind of a waste of your time to expect to hear even any small bits of information about it within the next couple of years in the least. And Pete Hines basically responded by saying exactly that. Then he was asked about Starfield. Pete Hines gave the usual useless Bethesda response when it comes to any question at all regarding Starfield, and simply said we'll get some kind of information about it someday. Then another member of the community mentioned being hyped for a Starfield announcement or something hopefully happening soon, and Pete Hines for some reason lost his damn mind out of nowhere by saying, "Jesus effing Christ, you guys are impossible. Enjoy your disappointment," which ironically enough sums up the principles of Bethesda Game Studios' marketing practices in general. And while I normally would say I can understand Pete Hines' frustration as he gets asked these types of questions probably constantly, and the Elder Scrolls 6 questions at this point are kind of ignorant in the least, by responding how he did, he shows a very clear lack of awareness of where Bethesda has left the community in regards to Starfield. For years, Bethesda denied the game's existence entirely, with Pete Hines even stating Starfield was most likely not a Bethesda Game Studios game during an Elder Scrolls Legends livestream a couple years ago. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we got confirmation that Starfield is exactly what everyone was thinking it would be. The next single-player, keywords there, single-player, massive open-world BGS RPG game. And not only that, but their first new IP in a very long time. This was also back during Fallout 76's very shaky start, so it should have been no surprise to Bethesda that a community that you gained completely off of the success of your single-player games would be focused more on Starfield rather than Fallout 76. This situation then further evolved over time because Bethesda, even after 2 years later, have yet to say a single new sentence of information regarding Starfield. But somehow, despite all of this complete lack of communication and marketing even 2 years after the game's announcement, the community is still hyped for this game. And how does Pete Hines respond or show his appreciation? By being a dick and wasting everyone's time with hollow responses that leave the community in the same confused state we have always been in since 2018, if not longer. Starfield is a new IP, a completely new game franchise from Bethesda, and it is going to be Bethesda Game Studios' next single-player RPG after a very long time, and directly after their first online-only game ever. Starfield has a lot of mystery and hype surrounding it, which is driving the community crazy with speculations and theories. And good PR would be noticing that the community may be expecting something that could lead to potential disappointment, and anyone with good PR skills would seek to gently let those expectations down, or correct these presumptions rather than straight up insulting your community and showing visible frustration because they are hyped for your game. Even just choosing to not respond at all would have been a lot smarter than doing what Pete Hines chose to do, and in my opinion, while this isn't a fireable offense, it is inexcusable behavior from someone at his level, and I highly doubt Pete Hines will stand up and apologize for it. Somehow he probably thinks he was justified, and I don't want to go any further about how that makes me feel. I will say, stop asking Pete Hines about these types of things. He's obviously not going to tell you anything until the showcase shows up in front of you, and I'm sure he gets his share of crappy people who just show a complete lack of awareness and insult him for not answering his questions, so I can somewhat get where he's coming from, but still, this situation is kind of crazy. Now, I am not saying Bethesda should go full on the route of CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077, for example, but they do need to show a bit more than they have been showing, kind of a balance between the complete lack of marketing that Bethesda Game Studios does and the overwhelming saturation of marketing that CD Projekt Red does. I firmly believe most of the Bethesda community, myself included, would have been more than happy with a single additional new Starfield teaser trailer each year leading up to the year of the big showcase. This would have been been Bethesda's big opportunity to not leave the community hanging in such a unique situation regarding the next single-player game. Single-player RPGs being the main reason most of the Bethesda Game Studios fanbase likes them to begin with. Now, as for what this actually means regarding Starfield, I'll go back to what I literally say in each and every video. Do not expect anything involving Starfield anytime soon. It is best to expect nothing, that way you never get disappointed, and that way it can be even more of a surprise when we finally do get something. And although a lot of the stuff I talk about in my videos stems from credible sources and legal filings and situations, anything regarding Starfield has to be considered speculation until it comes direct from Bethesda Game Studios. I will say that the fact that Starfield is getting its ESRB and PEGI ratings reviewed right now at the start of the Summer Games Fest season seems like it would be a lot more than coincidence. But as always, only time will tell when it comes to Starfield, and although the chances of a 2020 release have went up a little bit, I still don't expect the game to release until 2021 as I have been saying. As always, I want to know what you have to say about all of this. Did Pete Hines mishandle the situation? Would you prefer Bethesda to market Starfield a bit more? Let me know what you think down in the description below, and if your comment wins the internet and may get featured in a future video. If you enjoy the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on if you want to stay up to date with the latest gaming news. Follow me on Twitter for channel updates and breaking news, and be sure to check the links down in the description below for the official Skullzi Discord chat server, Skullzi merchandise, and links to be an exclusive channel member over on Patreon or here on YouTube. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when it turns out that Pete Hines probably does something else controversial on Twitter again. Now I understand why Todd Howard stays off social media.